With YouTube attacking alternative media, please consider supporting the channel via Patreon for just $1 per month. Link below. Cloverfield. You're probably asking yourself, what the hell is Cloverfield? Well, yesterday there was a big YouTube glitch. I wasn't able to stream, but I did want to talk about it. Yesterday was the 10th anniversary of Cloverfield. Now, the movie is a very divisive film amongst many people. For me personally, it's one of my all-time favorites. This is a movie that when I first saw the teaser for it in front of Michael Bay's Transformers, I was hooked. You know, I was completely hooked as to what this thing was. Point of view found footage movies are quite literally my favorite genre. The two feature films I've made myself have both been point of view found footage, and I'm definitely in the realm of just absolutely loving that particular style of filmmaking. Quite frankly, it's the only kind of movies I want to make. And a lot of it has to do with my love of Blair Witch Project as well as my love of Cloverfield. Now, the movie itself, again, has been divisive. It's one that I saw 6 times opening weekend. Not kidding you. Twice in theaters where I paid for not only me, but somebody else. And then I worked at a drive-in movie theater at the time, and we were showing the movie, so I watched it 2 more times the weekend, or 4 more times that weekend. So I saw it a lot opening weekend. I went back and saw the movie a 3rd time. I took my mom to go see it. That's how much I loved this movie. And I took my mom to go see it. And I bought it on, DVD when it came out. A few months later, I owned the Blu-ray. I think I own like 2 copies of it on Blu-ray at this point. Cloverfield is my jam. And I've always wanted them to continue the story. 10 Cloverfield Lane was good, albeit it tied into the overall mythos of Cloverfield in a very small fashion. Obviously, it was done after the fact of production, and they wanted to find a way to make Cloverfield now more of a Twilight Zone-esque type of series. But when it came to the ARG that surrounded this movie that was coming out for Cloverfield, that was insane. And I still, as much as I feel like I've gotten to the bottom of it, I don't think that I have, and I always feel like there's more out there to the story, and I'm not the only one, which takes me to the first story today. Cloverfield's viral marketing game just released the first God particle clues. Now, it makes sense that it happened on the 10th anniversary of the franchise having come out, if that's what you want to call it. I'm not too sure if calling it a franchise is really the best course of action, but that's ultimately what it is. Now, it says here that the 3rd movie in the Cloverfield franchise is supposed to open last February, then last October, and then in 2 weeks, and now it's set to open April 20th. But what happened here is that fans on Reddit jumped over to tagurato.jp, the well-known website of the fictional Japanese oil drilling company that links the first 2 Clover movies together. Basically, in the first film, because they kind of give a little thing here for Easter eggs, the main character in the first film worked for Slusho. He was moving to Japan to work for Slusho. Slusho was a subsidiary of Tagurato, and that was kind of how they were connected. And then in 10 Cloverfield Lane, you see that John Goodman's character, I think, worked for them, because you see a quick insert shot of Tagurato and like on an envelope somewhere. Like that was what tied it together. It was very minimal in what brought Cloverfield and 10 Cloverfield Lane together, but at the same time, 10 Cloverfield Lane was just a well done movie, very creepy, very good. So it was good to see it connected, but ultimately it could have stood on its own, which I think it would have been fine on its own. Now, the website was previously down shortly after 10 Cloverfield Lane opened. It's now up and running with a mysterious page that's packed with clues. A faux error message appears on the screen, but if you look closely, you'll spot a garbled pixelated text on the screen that says browser incompatibility 415 unsupported media type. Now, if you lighten up the image, you get a bit of clues here on the side. According to this website, you see what appears to be right here, Clovey, on the right-hand side here, and then also the Tagurato logo up top, it looks like here. But first, I mean, this kind of looks, the outline of the face here looks very similar. When I first saw this, even in that first image, my thought immediately went to this image of Clovey, which is the scene where HUD gets it. But it says that's not all. Realizing that there was more text hidden in the pop-up, in the load pop-up, Redditor MovieGuy225 came up with the idea of how to view the page source and discovered 3 images, one of which shows the full page without a pop-up. If you play the contrast and brightness, you can make what appears to be a memo from Tagurato, and then here's a screenshot, so you can see the logo up here, and it looks to be a bit of a memo So you can barely make it out, but this is what they believe that it says. Tokyo, January 18th, 2018. Tagarato has begun development on a revolutionary new energy technology company scientists believe could not only compete with, but possibly replace experimentation with Tagarato's most patented and proprietary technology last year, resulted in what CEO Gano Yoshida called a technological giant leap forward for our planet. This renewable technology will take the next 6 years to complete, along with another 4 years of stress testing and research on integration power grids. Tagarato is working with international regulatory bodies to bring this revolutionary energy source to blank by April 2028. So in another 10 years from now. Now, what does that ultimately tell you? Like the idea there of the God particle being the working title of the movie, we don't even know if that's even going to end up being the last title. They could change it at this point. But if it's leading into an idea of what to expect out of this movie, I think it could be very interesting, especially if it ties in to Clovey being discovered. Now the question is ultimately, did Clovey come from space? Did Clovey come from underground? We don't ultimately know. It's been kind of surmised either way, because in the original ARG for Cloverfield, Tagarato had a drilling operation roughly 200 miles off the eastern seaboard that had apparently drilled and tapped into something, which is where they ultimately found the additive that went into Slusho to make it, I think, so addictive or whatever ingredients went into Slusho came out of that particular drilling, deep sea drilling. But then that's also been rumored that is where they woke Clovey from. Right now, the idea also is that Clovey is considered to be a baby. Now, if Clovey is a baby, how much bigger can she get, right? But at the end of the movie, when they're on Coney Island, you can see what appears to be an item falling out of the sky, like a meteor or something crashing out of the sky and falling into the water off the coast of Coney Island, which some have speculated to be the egg of Clovey, or some people have called it a crashed satellite, something along those lines. It's always been heavily speculated as to what it is, but we've still never fully figured out everything about it. And it's one that, as far as movie ARGs go, and as far as movie stories go and plots go, and just this ancillary stuff, I think they did a great job. The integration with MySpace into the main characters of Cloverfield was great. All the stuff in Slusho's website, all the little documents people found, it was very cool, very interesting, and I'm super excited to see what happens with this next. I don't know, but if JJ is still involved and still putting this out there, we could be in for a real good treat come April 20th.